am so excited to have you on today.
Thank you. I am great. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. And I'm honored. I'm truly honored that you agreed to come on. Our conversation is going to be about the new Dotcom Secret Summit that you have been selected to participate, to be one of the speakers. You are one of the speakers.
I am. I was on day 3.
Let's put a little context to it, okay?
Oh goodness, absolutely.
So the Dotcom Secrets book,
yes,
which you're now part of the summit, it was written in 2015. It sold over 237,000 copies right now.
That's awesome.
It has been called the book that every online entrepreneur must read. And it's pretty much been the catalyst for a complete movement. That book has changed me and my path. And now you will forever be associated with this book, forever, as a speaker. Tell us about how that makes you feel.
Well, it's probably the most awesome experience that I've ever been honored with. I was pretty surprised. Well, I wasn't so much surprised, but I forgot that I had applied for the opportunity, and I really didn't even know what the opportunity was, but I had a really cool funnel that was unique and different. So I thought I'll apply with it and just see. And we're actually on our way down to Atlanta, Georgia for a race car event. My boys got sponsored by a race car in the Trans Am race series. So their logo is going to be on the car. So we're headed down south for that. And so we're just driving in the car, and I get a email from Russell with this private video saying, hey, you've been selected as one of the speakers for our Dotcom Secrets Summit. Would you be interested?
Wow.
And I was like, oh, maybe this was sent to me by mistake. Like, I'm not all these other people kind of listed here who's going to be in the summit. I'm like, how in the world did this happen? And I said, so I'm like, I think this is real. Like, maybe it was that thing I sent my funnel in for. Like, I started piecing it together because it was just so like I couldn't believe it. I was shocked and surprised and amazed, and I didn't really know if it was right. So I watched it a couple times, and I was trying to show my boys it, and they're in the back seat of the car, and my husband's driving, and I'm trying to like get him to listen to what's going on. And I was so excited. So, I immediately replied, yes, of course, thinking if you didn't make a mistake, and, this little guy over here, but yeah, absolutely. But anyways, it moved on, and they put you in touch with Bailey Rickert, who also did the 30-day summit. She led that, and she facilitated the whole process. So from there on, I worked with her, and in creating the videos that she needed for the summit, for me teaching my funnel. My donation request funnel.
Yeah, cool. Bailey Rickert was also a part of the summit.
She was. She was one of the big names there. How awesome is that?
Yes. Tell us about yourself. How you got started in the community. What is your story, Tracie?
All right. So, okay. Well, let me first preface. So I'm Tracie Kelly. I'm a married mom. We have 2 boys. I've been married to my husband, Steve, for 23 years now. And this summer, my boys will turn 17 and 20. Okay. So one's moving on from teens. But my 20-year-old has Asperger's syndrome, which is an autism spectrum disorder. Ever since we learned about his autism when he was a little boy, I took on that task of trying to improve his life with autism as best as possible. So I was all in with that. And one of the ways we did that was indulging in his interests. And when he was little, we'd follow his interests. Like when he was 4, he was into whales and dolphins. So we'd go to SeaWorld and all the time and fly down and check that out. And let me preface by my son's development was very unusual, where he read books and could read the book out loud, but he couldn't speak and have any sort of conversational language. So it was this really unusual development. It almost seems unreal, or like I'm making it up, that this kid could read, but he couldn't talk. But it was the situation. And it was, quite a process throughout his life till now, just unfolding this ability of, when he actually did have words and able to speak, he was very self-focused. So if he liked the whales and sharks and dolphins, and you'd ask him, do you want to go outside? He would answer with something about whales, like totally didn't even make sense. Like there was just no connection for a long time, lots of therapy. When he loved Thomas the Train, we drove down to another state so he could ride on Thomas the Train. As he got older, he got into monster trucks. So we would go to every monster truck show, which was a totally new experience for me being a woman. Never experienced that. Right. So when he got into 5th grade, he was an avid reader, and he read a book by Robert T. Kiyosaki called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You may have heard of it.
Yes.
You may have read it.
Yes.
And he got so excited and inspired about this idea of getting out of the rat race and becoming an entrepreneur, that was like what he wanted to do. So being the reader he was, I took him over to Barnes and Noble, and we bought every book ever written by Robert T. Kiyosaki and his associates. Like we have the whole bundle, and we read through these all. Not we, he. I still have yet to read them, but he read through all these books, and he was so excited about entrepreneurship that like this is what he wanted to do. Well, at that time, after he finished 5th grade, we started homeschool because it was a right fit for him in his situation with autism, just all the distractions in the classroom and such. So I was homeschooling, and I was all in on that because I'm going to help my kid and, get him to where he needs to be. And when he needs to sit and read, he can read without getting in trouble and all that kind of stuff. So I was all in on homeschooling. So when he would come up with these business ideas, I was just kind of like, I had no idea how to run a business. I thought that was something that like people with lots of money do, but who am I? Like I have no idea, whatever, like, okay, I would, kind of say, well, let's go join some summer camps where you can explore these ideas of business and entrepreneurship. So those are things that we did throughout the summers. So it was really like the situation where he wanted to do this and I didn't know how to support it. And his latest idea that he was getting really hot on was like gourmet lemonades. And I'm just thinking like, okay, how do you ship bottles? And like, I'm like, oh no, that sounds like a mess. So let's keep that's a great idea. Let's keep thinking. So then here, fast forward, it's June 2016, and he's just out of 9th grade. And it's a beautiful day like it is today. And he decides that he's, going to go out for a bike ride with his buddy. And they end up at McDonald's, and they lean their bikes up against the big picture window. They thought, we'll go in and buy our food and come out and sit by our bikes. And in that short amount of time that they went in to order their food, they come out and the bikes are stolen.
The bikes were gone.
Their bikes are gone. Worst place, it was his dad's bike, it was Steve's bike that got stolen because he had grown so much. He's on this bigger bike now, and he took his dad's bike out. So the bikes got stolen, and that was like his car. Kid rode his bike everywhere. He was an avid bike rider. So he wanted a new bike, and we thought he's out of 9th grade, wonderful opportunity. Like he can go up to McDonald's or Culver's or nearby business and get a job. And so he made an agreement with my husband, a little quicker than I wanted, but my husband brought him home a new bike a couple of days later, and they had an agreement that he'd pay him back for that bike by the end of that summer. So fine, we're thinking he's going to get a job. But after a week or so, I said to my husband, like, does he know were serious. Like he has to get a job. Like he's just been kind of like quiet doing his thing. And turned out he's thinking of ideas of how can I make money? He's thinking through his entrepreneurship books he's been reading about, how can I make money? What can I do to come up with this money? Okay. So, you know, he's thinking of different ideas and he's in the shower. And that's when he came up with the idea of Better Bar Soap. There was liquid soap in there that I would buy. And he's like, you know, wanted bar soap. And he's like, oh my God, like I can make better soap. I can make a soap company. Well, sound with a great idea. He was very excited. And at least it was much better than lemonade. Sound like something a little more legit.
It doesn't, you don't have to worry about it being ingested and a shelf life. Yeah.
Those are very difficult things for, I don't have a package facility here and bottling and, you know, I think of Laverne and Shirley when they're bottling the beers on the assembly line, like, we don't have all that. Like, yeah. Something we could do here. So yeah, so this was like an idea. And as we've always supported his ideas and interests, we were just all in. Okay, get on, figure out how to create a business and we'll support you along the way. And so that's what happened that summer. He figured out, you know, start with the name and the logo and, you know, just moved on to creating the platform and getting it launched. So we initially had
and that was the birth of
the Expedition Soap Company. That's right.
All right.
Yep. Very cool. And we had goals to launch in August and those got pushed back to September 1st, but September 1st, it happened. He launched his store online. The first day he made I don't remember exactly, maybe $470 some, something like that. But more than enough to replace the $300 bike that was purchased for him. So that was like very exciting and motivating. And of course, those were friends and family and people in our neighborhood, but it was tremendous support and enough to like spark that inner feeling of success and that he did it. So we quickly expanded into craft and vendor shows, all that kind of stuff. He was getting into the newspapers locally. And it was interesting because in his very first interview, being the smart boy my son is, he said something that was like that epiphany moment, you know, to me. And I had to explain to him like, wow, that's so genius what you thought of. But and it was like a big quote in the newspaper, you know, it was like a big part of the article. And it's awesome. But he said,
do you remember what that was?
Yeah, he said to the interviewer, he said, well, you use soap, I use soap, the guy down the street uses soap, even the president used soap. He said, who doesn't use soap? And it was like that genius light bulb moment of, wow, that's like growing up or like being married with my husband when we would talk about like, man, if we could just invent the most cool thing, right? But here he wasn't thinking about inventing. He was smart enough to like think of what's already there that I can move forward with. And it was such a cool idea. So we're all on board. He launches Expedition Soap September 1st, 2016. So we're coming up on our 5 years. We added on the craft and vendor shows. We realized that starting a business isn't impossible. It's not something that just like the rich people do or the big corporations do. Like we did it. And highly recommend that now that like in hindsight that we learned it's not that difficult. And we did use LegalZoom, but maybe that's something that everyone who's interested, like, you know, like a little nugget from there is like, don't hold back, like just do it. Like, especially with the internet, as you see, you can live anywhere and do anything. Like everything becomes a possibility that maybe wasn't, you know, pre-internet days.
Yes.
So it was great because my sons are learning business skills, life lessons, how to sell. You know, there's just so many like great lessons that were coming out of this that perhaps, you know, they wouldn't get unless they were doing this. You know what I mean? So it's cool.
Oh my gosh. I absolutely love that, because you may have, you know, his condition.
Yeah.
His condition did not hold him back.
No, in fact, it was such a great experience we found, because he really like showed up with his strengths, and he saw his weaknesses as challenges, as ways like, how can I tackle this? One of his biggest challenges, and maybe just not related to autism itself, right? Because I think maybe we all experience this fear, but when we would do the craft shows, he's this little like 16-year-old boy, and we're like, get out there and like, tell people your story, tell people, because we found the minute he starts telling his story, okay, first he's not being salesy, right? But he's telling his story, people would stop, moms would stop and listen. Like, people love to hear his story, and then they come in and like smell his product and try it. And then once they take his product home, and they're like, man, so many times we have people come back and say, man, I bought because of your story, but your product's wonderful. And then we get these fans for life, and that really built up our business. But he'd be so fearful. He'd come running behind the shelf and be like, Mom, I can't do this. Like, just take me home. This is like, I can't talk to people. I can't tell my story. No one wants to, like, he would go through this time. And eventually that got shortened into like the first hour of our shows. He'd freeze, he can't talk. And then by the end of it, he's talking, he's warmed up, and he had so much personal growth. And like I said, maybe that's not necessarily related to autism. Maybe it is, because there's challenges in communicating there that maybe you and I don't ever experience, yeah. So that grew on. He got into more and more shows. We spoke a couple times at the World Conference on Autism, flying out west for that. And then he had a really cool experience happen. And we all ended up through an interview process with CBS to be on a brand new TV show that was very similar to Shark Tank, but this new premise, which I can't discuss. But they had a new idea for a show, and we went through series and series of interviews over Skype with the producers and sending in videos, and we were selected. My boys had lawyers in California, entertainment lawyers in California. We had a contract. We were all ready to fly out. And 4 days before that was going to happen, the producers just shut it down, and it was like radio silence. The whole production stopped. So that really sucked, that we actually went through that amazing process and it got shut down. And something that came out of that process, though, was who owns your logo. Their lawyers for CBS wanted to know, well, who owns your logo? And we're like, we own it. Well, this is just like a tidbit or lesson on business, like one of the many hurdles, right? But we turned out that I think this company called like Free Logo Services, who we purchased our logo through, turned out we thought we bought a logo. Nope. Turned out they leased it to us. We have the right to use it, but they own it. We didn't own it. And that was like a huge wake up, that we then had to create a new logo, make sure that we owned it 100%, and now rebrand our now over 100 SKUs. It was a nightmare to have to go through. And the whole process, because it's just us four, and really my husband works too, so kind of like us three to tackle on, took probably a process of a year to completely change every product and picture product. I mean, it was a huge endeavor. So
wow, 100 SKUs.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Well, his soap bars, and then the body butter, and now he has more than that, because he has the bath bomb, sugar scrub, lip balm. So he's added some products into the lineup. But anyways, through doing that, we thought we wanted to be in stores. We thought, okay, the next step is like, we got this new logo, everything looks great, let's get this product on the shelves. And we were in a couple local stores, but we thought we wanted to do more. So we joined a company called Range Me. And Range Me is where they take the small people like us, and they meet us up with the Walmarts and, big stores everywhere around the world. And we started that process. And after just changing out the logo and changing our website and revamping everything, tedious process. On Range Me, you kind of have to like rebuild this whole website and put your products out there. And that was like too much work. And in that time, I was taking a sales class with a woman named Sonia Stringer online. And she teaches like for women how to sell without being real salesy.
Okay.
And her course had the really cool buttons. She had a timer, a countdown timer. She had this webinar, that would show with a button under it. And I would just look at the layout of what she was marketing and think, God, like, who are these people? How did they do this? Like, what is this? It's not like you go to my website, like, I can't do this really cool stuff. I want a countdown timer. Like, I want to figure out, right? You're like noticing what people are doing and you want it too. And that's what led me to find Clickfunnels, was because I wanted to find, like, I need to do more. What I'm seeing in this online marketing is really cool and interesting. What the heck is it? How are they doing this? It was this whole like realization that we needed to step in that direction, and we didn't want to focus on being in stores so much, because the minute you put your product in store, you lose like half your price when you sell wholesale. So like, it's just, yes, we can do it, but like, you're making a lot more money selling your product straight online, because that's your profit.
You can keep more of the profit.
Yeah. So we were really interested in selling online, and Clickfunnels seemed to be the answer. We just like knew nothing about it. So that's when I knew I had to go all in and learn this darn thing called Clickfunnels and figure it out. But I had already spent some money on this lady's courses, a couple $100, not thousands. But and I'm always trying to watch the company's money. And the OFA, the One Funnel Away challenge, is $100 challenge, and it's a 30-day challenge.
Yes.
And it's $100 to join. And I really hem and hawed. Do I want to spend another $100? Who knows if it's even going to be good? And right, we all know the answer to that it's amazing.
Yes.
Right?
From like day zero.
From day zero, after that first day, I'm like, oh, that was worth $100, if not more. Like, these guys are crazy. They're like giving this away, right? So yeah, you totally have that epiphany moment, right? You totally are turned on to this idea that the OFA is like where you begin. That is the place to begin online marketing.
I am 1000%. I'm complete. There's a new 2.0 version, and I've recently gone through it. And now, after going through this new version, they've had all those years. I think the previous one was running for about close to 3 years, and they've had close to 100,000 people go through this challenge, and they've taken all of the feedback from everyone that's gone through, and they've redesigned it in such a way that it is not arguably the best training that you can take, but I am 1000% convinced. I'm completely convinced there's no better way to start in online marketing than taking that course.
It was maybe summertime when I started learning about this in 2019. So I decided, when the kids are in school and, I'm ready, everything's calmed down here, like I could just sit down and do this 30-day challenge. And I did it. And the first time I went through it, I didn't have any product, or I had a product, but I didn't have like videos made or, the photos I wanted to use. I didn't know what the idea was that I wanted to sell or, have on special. So like, and just learning all the funnel terminology and what things mean, like it was just so new to me. That first time was like getting the experience in the jump in and the excitement of all the funnel building. But I tried to move forward and I got stuck at content. I just didn't have content. And but I knew, like, once the challenge ended, I knew it was something I wanted to move forward with. I knew I wanted the ClickFunnels platform, because obviously the 2 free weeks is great and it gets you started, but then you're stuck because you don't have it anymore. So I said, okay, when Christmas comes, like maybe there'll be a Christmas sale, Black Friday sale. And there was. So I waited to like the last day to spend that money, but I actually did it. And with that came another OFA challenge. And that's the one that I met you in. And this time I was excited. I had the platform, I had the OFA challenge, and connected with you. And, we gave each other some support and ideas, and you were brand new then.
Yes.
So that was really exciting.
Now that you mentioned that, I have to go back in our conversations, but I remember you saying that before, that you got it with the Christmas package. I think I remember you saying that before, because I remember we had a couple of back and forths. You were looking for some emails, an email course, and I'm just a nerd. So,
me too.
So I'm in the phase where I'm just like you. I'm geeking out on funnels.
Yes.
And
your possibilities of your future, right? So exciting.
Yes. And I'm geeking out on all of the training that's available to us, and how much this is. It was $100 for all this training.
Right. Amazing.
And I'm geeking out about this. So I think and this was around the time, I guess it was around the time when we were going to be going on lockdown.
Yeah, it started like after the challenge, because our challenge was all through January.
It started like January 1st.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we all kept in touch through the old Fogey Facebook group.
Yes, right? And we have to give our credit to Ann Acord.
That's right. Yeah, she did help us through some spots where I get stuck. It was a great place for us to go on and like have that connection, like your Facebook group, you probably, can connect with your group and share ideas and, answer questions and help people through where they might get stuck. Like it's so much fun to help others when you understand it, because you're growing then too, like you're mastering a concept.
Yes.
So then COVID happened. And for my son's company, every April, because he has autism, we gave back to support different autism charities. Like that was a goal he started back with his company. He knew part of having his business was going to be giving back. So every April he gives back to a couple of autism charities. But this year COVID struck, and that whole feeling of unity and wanting to support our frontline workers all came about. And I had the idea like, hey, like I could create a funnel real quick and we could do donations, and that could be our way of giving back. Like this year we can do something different. Like let's give back to the frontline workers. So even before I made the funnel, my boys put together a body butter donations, because it's a long story, but a nurse Jessica from one of the local hospitals, she's a customer of ours and loves our body butter, how moisturizing and soft it is. And she sees all her coworkers and everyone's getting these super dry, cracky hands, which isn't good to have split fingers when you're, working in the hospital, because especially around COVID, and you don't want to, have another avenue for disease to get in your body. But anyway, so she was like, hey, do you guys think you can do a body butter donation? And we were like, yes, like, thank you so much. Like we were thinking soap, and we knew soap, you can't really put soap bars around the hospital and no one would use that. And they already have their medical grade soaps, but body butter, hello, we didn't even think that. Like, thank you. Yes, we're going to participate. So with the boys put together a donation, they donate about $1,300 in body butter products. Fox 2 News was there, filmed the whole story. And then between Fox showing the story and them already filming that we did this, that's when my idea said, hey, I can build a funnel and let's ask other people too. So I created the funnel in maybe 3 days or so. It was really short, and it was enough a donation request funnel. So I was asking people like, hey, here's our story. Would you like to donate too? And I was able to give that funnel link to the news. So they put it on the television, they put it in their, go to our website for the story. You'll find out how you can donate. And oh my God, that was fabulous. But little did we know.
You made the 1 Comma Club.
Yeah, we did. And, the fabulous thing that came out of that, which we were totally not expecting, we had no focus on getting personal sales of our product through that. What happened though, is we got almost 1,000 orders within almost 24 hours, but it went over a couple of days. But I mean, our notifications were like sale. We're just like, like, is this real? Like, what's going on? And then, so we got a lot of donations too. Like, don't get me wrong. We did fabulous. Okay. But we weren't expecting the orders, and we were looking at the orders, and they'd be for body butter too. And we're going, maybe, did they mean these as a delivery? Or, I mean, did they mean these as a donation, but they made the mistake and like bought it for themselves, or were they confused? And then we kind of realized people were buying this, like they wanted this too. Like if Nurse Jessica loved it, they wanted it. So we on top of our donations made all these sales, and it was like gangbusters. It was a crazy experience for us, and it was great.
It's great to hear those notifications go off, but then
then you're like, are they gonna stop? like what's happening? It was really intense. It was a blessing, and then it's like you get scared, like, okay, like just stop. I mean, we worked, I'm not kidding, like round the clock, 24/7. We had orders all over the house. We had bins laid out.
Did you take pictures?
Is so creative, and he put all the systems in place. Like, this is how we're going to fill the orders. You're going to print them. They're going to go in these bins, and packaging's going to be over here. And he just like took over that whole thing, and it was awesome. And it was COVID, so my son was home from college. That my younger son was from high school, so like they were available to work, thank goodness. And we worked around the clock getting those orders put together, and then we pulled together all the donation and went and gave those out to the 7 area hospitals. It was such a wonderful, wonderful feeling to give that back, and to provide a way for people sitting at home like us who wanted to give back, but we didn't know how.
Yes. I remember that time, and I remember going through that funnel and I remember getting the emails from Spencer and Grant. And I remember getting those emails, but it was not just an email saying thank you. It was an email saying thank you. And I think your order stack, that tells you it was a funnel, gave me a discount off of a future purchase.
That's right. That was a brilliant idea my son came up with, was like, hey, let's put something in that package where they can come back later and get a really good discount. And that was one of the secrets in my technique for the Dotcom Summit secrets, the summit that we talk about, is one of our special offers was a mystery. It was a surprise. Like, if you purchase this, for us, our case, it was if you donate, you're going to get a mystery surprise at the end. And that was a really good discount to come back and buy more products.
Yes, I do. And I guess it was really and it was a really good feeling, not just giving, but then afterwards seeing you actually deliver those soaps. And I believe I saw the pictures of you at the hospital, and delivering it to all of the nurses that were they were exhausted having to work so much during the COVID at the time. Yes.
Yeah, they were grateful to have something like a body product that was personal for them, and kind of helpful and soothing and moisturizing, and just something they can put on for that little moment of reprieve to feel better. And they were getting so many food donations, which of course, who doesn't love food, but it was just like a nice little gesture that went a long way, that made the people that received it just feel a little bit of love, and something that is actually helping them feel better. It was a really cool experience to do that, for sure.
Awesome. So you make the 1 Comma Club, and then because of that funnel, you're invited to the Dotcom Secret Summit to speak, to be one of only 32 speakers selected. Do you realize that there are over 270,000 members in that Clickfunnels group? Between the Clickfunnels and the Clickfunnels Avenger, it's well over 350,000, close to 400,000. You are
what an amazing honor.
You are now a recognizable face. And I know that group is I love that group.
Yeah.
I love you. And I think I remember a conversation we had early on about, you have to watch out for some of the antics.
Right. People are sneaky, right? They're on there asking questions like, I don't know, like, what's your favorite look of a funnel? And then if you reply, boom, all of a sudden you're inboxed with a new friend, And in the beginning, I was accepting those friendships because I had this whole camaraderie after being in the OFA challenge, and like, I met you and grouped together with some wonderful people. But yeah, you kind of learn that on that ClickFunnels challenge, you got to be a little careful because these people, you don't know their intents and who they are. And if you're just getting this random friend request, like, I feel bad now because I just delete them, but my personal Facebook page, like, we have our company page, but my personal page isn't like all the marketers do, where it's like solely a personal page, but it's the ideas they market. And my personal page is my personal page. And I quickly realized that I don't want all these strangers on my page, and I don't want the messages that I didn't ask for people to reach out to me in a false friendship looking for a sale. That got a little annoying quick.
Yes, Russell teaches it in the book, and it's that's an ocean, and they're throwing hooks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't realize that. Even the OFA challenge, you really got to watch, because there's people, marketers, that join that challenge for the sole purpose of seeking you out, someone who's a newbie, and you're like the perfect person for them to, they say, hey, let me take you and build a funnel. But I saw Russell came on not too long ago and made a video saying, hey, you got to be careful because some people are like getting, screwed out of their money. And they think they're trusting a friend, but so the ClickFunnels brings together this super happy family, but you just have to watch, because like anywhere, there's scammers.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Yes, there are a lot of great people in the community, but at the same time, there are some people with not, their intentions are not in your best interest.
Yeah, and then even then, you don't know if they are a scam or if they're a legitimate business person who's looking that could help you. So, you like one thing, if you decide to move forward with anything, you have to get referrals, recommendations, see their past work. Like you have to know who you're working with. Like, just because they're in the ClickFunnels community, you can't just outright trust them, unfortunately.
Yes, it doesn't give them instant credibility.
Right. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I know we've been on this chat. Oh my gosh, I could chat with you for hours and hours and hours. Oh my gosh.
I know, right? You're so much fun.
See, I told you this would be the easiest interview you've ever done.
And I appreciate that, because I get really nervous. I'm a mom over here learning this all and making it happen, but I'm definitely not a marketing pro. So that's my son. He's the interviewer. That kid.
Oh my gosh, I am so impressed with your sons.
Thank you.
I'm so,
they're hard workers.
Yeah, I am so impressed with them. But I just want to say, I want to give you some last words.
Sure.
Before I sign off, and then we want to mention your chapter in the Dotcom Secret Summit, and I believe it's titled
A Donation Request Funnel.
No, it's how to open hearts and wallets to raise the funds you need for your nonprofit cause without making your donors feel guilty or embarrassed.
Yeah.
So
there's a Jim Edwards ring to it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. The how to without.
Yeah, that's right.
I would definitely recommend signing up for the summit. It's absolutely free to sign up, and it's a 5-day summit, and you'll get to see the absolutely ingenious funnel that Tracie has created. And
thank you. But I was watching all the series, and the it's so amazing because the first thing is they show you the why they did it. You know, this is how you do it. But when you get the whole series and you get to see actual examples of those funnels being built out, like what more could you ask for? What more direct funnel hacking can you get? But the value from those who've been before you and have the experience and literally lay out step by step what you need to do to create that funnel, and they work. You know, these are proven funnels. It's like a gift being handed to you. You absolutely need to have this gift because it is going to be your quick step to success.
I agree. I agree. And you are standing alongside giants, not looking up to them, Tracie, but looking with them as their equal. And I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you just to, seeing you. It's just good to see someone that you've seen and maybe in the beginning stages of their journey. And I'm always rooting for everyone, really, always rooting for everyone. Absolutely. And to see it play out this way. I told you when I was looking at the .com secret, the image for it, and I'm looking at the names, and I saw the name Tracie Kelly, and I said, whoa, that I messaged you right away.
Yeah. I said, oh yeah.
Because as soon as
I was like, oh, it was no big deal. It was like, let me tell you. So in part of the process, the first thing I received back from them was the wireframe, the doodle of my funnel. And to see that made professionally, like the ones you see in the books, like the ones you see online, mine was made by Clickfunnels. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this was the most exciting thing in my life. Like I couldn't believe this happened. But then a few days later, there's like, Bailey sends me over all the promotional marketing material. And one of the pictures, well, there were several with different captions on them, but is a picture of Russell and me. Literally made by Clickfunnels. Like it wasn't me photoshopping my picture in next to Russell, right? Like they made this legitimate, like, you can imagine, like, wow, I was so proud. I was so excited and so geeked, and I wanted to tell everyone. And I know like my friends and family out there, like have no idea who Russell is or this whole world of online marketing. So then I like had to reach out to my few friends and be like, oh my God, I'm doing something so exciting. Like it's about to come out. I can't wait to tell you about it. Like you just want to scream, you're screaming inside, and like you can't share it with anyone because they asked us to hold off till a certain launch date and stuff like that. So for my inner ClickFunnel geek, this like was the most amazing experience, and I'm so grateful. And I still was like literally pinching myself, like, is this real? Like, did this just really happen? It's awesome, and I'm thrilled and honored to be a part of the .com Secret Summit. It's such a value driven piece of information that you could bring in and really elevate you and just move right to that next step where you need to be in your funnel building and success for your business. It's like a way to cut the corners, and just get right to the meat and get to what matters. It's a great value. I recommend it to everybody.
I'll tell you that the smile on my face doesn't clearly represent the smile that's like all in my heart, and it's just so happy for you. And the smile, if it was fully representing, it would go from here to there.
Aw, thank you so much. That's really cool. And thank you for sharing in my joy and excitement of being a part of this. It was hands down the best experience of my life. I look forward to what's next. I'm going to be at the Funnel Hacking Live conference this fall in September. Are you attending that?
I will be there in Orlando.
I'll get to meet you. Okay, that's very cool. I'm so looking forward. One of my sons is coming with me. My son Grant, my younger son, he's 17. So I'm really excited. He's all excited to get immersed into this world. He's excited to see the speakers and super excited to see Tony Robbins be there.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. When you were speaking about your sons and that they make it a point to give back every year. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the greatest things that I love about it's actually being a funnel hacker.
Yeah.
And funnel hackers are entrepreneurs that realize that what they're doing is for the impact of others.
Yeah, it's always about others, serving others, giving back to others, helping elevate and lift, and even within our community, just being there to support each other, because there's room for all of us.
Yes, yes. And when we become entrepreneurs, it's our obligation to put our message out there, because someone out there is waiting to hear our message. I always listen to the story that Russell tells about his wife and how they struggled for years to have children. And then one day his wife sees a fertility expert on Oprah. And from that experience, they actually booked, and the doctor lived in their town. And from that experience, they actually were able to take fertility treatments from this doctor, and then they had their twin boys. If that doctor had never spread his message so much that he got on Oprah, then they may not have their twin boys today.
Yeah. Isn't that just so amazing?
Yes. And I tell people that are thinking about being an entrepreneur that someone out there needs to hear your message.
Even if you're small like me.
Even if you're small like you, you're not small. You have a much bigger impact than you probably know. And just by the fact that you said you went down and you're getting your company on the side of a race car.
Yeah.
On the side of a race car.
Yeah.
And you talked about it. You talked about how when your boys start telling their story, that's what people really resonate with, because it's a story of inspiration. When, to be honest, I think a lot of people out there are having those same feelings like your boys had. When your boys would come to you, you said that it would come to you like in the first hour. And they would say, I'm just nervous. I don't want to do it. But you were there. You were there for them. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Always.
And now they're using those weaknesses. They're not using them as an excuse. They're not using it as an excuse to give up, to not make things happen. And that's very, very, very commendable. Sometimes people don't recognize it because you're just doing it and it feels normal to you. And you're not looking for any recognition. You're not looking for any outside recognition, but just know that it is very commendable.
Thank you. And I think what you're saying is absolutely true. I think that we're just living it. This is our everyday life. And this is like, we need to move forward. It always has to move forward. You pick up if you're down and you move it forward. You look for another way to tackle it. It's a learning adventure. Definitely, like, just because you're down doesn't mean the door's shut. Like it just means you need to be creative and rethink the situation and what you can do to do better. There's always a way out, even when you feel like there's not. You have to it's just like God's way of telling you need to tap in and get really creative. Like he's challenging you to get creative, and you need to step up and meet that and figure it out, because there's always a way. I think of when Steve Larson talked about when he was like broke with his wife, was like not eating some meals so that he was able to go to school, and he went to his dad and asked for money, and his dad told him, like, you have to look for, like, you still have things in your house, right? Like, you could sell stuff. Like you're not willing to get uncomfortable. You're willing to just reach out and ask for a handout. And his dad said, that's not how you live life. Like, if you're challenged, you have to get uncomfortable. Maybe you do have to sell some of those things. Maybe you have to rethink what you're doing or what job you have, but you have to get creative and figure it out on your own. And that's the best gift you can probably, for personal growth that you can give someone, is that encouragement, that it doesn't mean just because you're down, that doesn't mean you're out. It means it's time to get creative.
Yes. I know. I remember the exact quote. He says, "No, son, if I give you this money, then you will not exhaust the resources that you didn't know you had."
That's right. You said that perfectly. That was such an impactful story, because it's really the truth, and that made him grow up a little and realize things and make some tough decisions.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much for coming on with us today, Tracie. And I'm sure that there are people out there that have heard what you said and have listened to us, and it's going to make a difference in how they go forward. Let Tracie tell you how you can get in touch with her and her company.
Yep. So we are the Expedition Soap Company. You can find us online at expeditionsoaps.com, and you can reach out through there. We're most found on Facebook. That's our most active social media site. So find us on there, follow us. We have a great contest going on right now where you can win our body butter samplers. So be sure you participate and check that out. And we just hope to motivate and inspire, and to let you know that even if you're a mom sitting at home, or have these entrepreneurial ideas as a kid or whatnot, like you can build it and you can make it happen, especially with a laptop and just being at home and dive right into that ClickFunnel world. That's the place to start and succeed.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And don't forget to sign up for the summit to see her secret funnel strategy that almost no one knows about, and how she turned that funnel, that donation funnel, into a speech, and what's going to be one of the most remembered summits that's been ever made by Russell Brunson. So take care.